Ah, the gimmick level, the gimmick level. Yeah, so it's a series I started quite a while ago, and I haven't uploaded an episode of that series for almost a year now. And I've had a lot of people asking, and I mean a lot. Since that last episode, I've had at least like one person ask per week. And that's like 52 weeks ago, just about. And it's been something that's constantly gnawing away. People always mention it when I stream. I get comments on all my videos about it. It's just always been this constant of like, we want this, we want this, we want this. Which I want to first say I do appreciate. I do really like the fact that I've made something that so many people care that much about, to the point where they're willing to ask over and over again to, see it continue. That's awesome, and I'm very thankful for that. But at the same time, I kind of want to talk about why I'm not going to be continuing the series for quite a while. I'm not going to say never, because I don't ever want to lock myself out of stuff like that. Like, I might come back to it and finish the level off at some point, but it's not in my immediate near future of what I want to do. And I want to talk about why today. So one of the reasons, which is actually kind of a smaller reason, it's like in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big, but it's kind of an easy explanation as to part of why I haven't uploaded in so long. And that's obviously just 2.2. Now, I did say I wanted to continue the level going into 2.2, but I just haven't had any motivation to do that. And a big reason as to why is because I was actually halfway through recording an episode when 2.2 released. So I kind of had this half-finished 2.1 part that I was like, do I finish it with 2.1 features, or do I scrap it and rebuild it entirely? I don't know, I feel like using the 2.1 one would fit better with the structure of the level, but it kind of wouldn't. I don't know, there were a lot of uncertainties with it that I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. And I didn't really want to work on a 2.1 level when all this new exciting 2.2 stuff was out. So I decided to put it on the back burner. I'll come back to it eventually. But as time passed and that eventuated, I guess you could say, I still had no motivation to work on it, and it's kind of something that's been building up for quite a long time. You may notice the most recent episode that I made of it, that was 11 months ago, I mentioned at the beginning that it had been 6 months since the episode before that. And there's one main reason for that, and that's because I started this series almost 2 years ago. In a month, the first episode will be 2 years old, and that's quite a long time ago, and quite a long time for my creating style and what I enjoy in the game to shift by a lot. And I tell you what, it has shifted a hell of a lot. I mean, if you go back and look at the decoration I did in Kratos, and then compare it to What the Base, it is like very, very different, right? And by the same token, the gimmick level looks very different to the What the Base. God. And that's fine, like it's fun to build in different styles, but the whole Toe 3 kind of theme when it comes to the level doesn't really appeal to me as much anymore. I don't find clean levels as interesting as more messy and interesting levels anymore. I don't know, like levels like Toe 3 and Azurite used to be my favorite levels in the game, but now I really, really see the appeal in levels like Mint Candy, for example, which is very all over the place. The colors are crazy, but it has so much personality to it. I love it so much. And I think you can definitely see that in how my building style has changed over time, like What the Base is a lot messier than, Fallen Club or even Kratos, which is a joke level as well, right? Well, What the Base isn't a joke level, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so for me, like, I'm just not super happy with how the gimmick level has turned out anymore. It's like, if any of you like make YouTube videos, you go back and watch one of your old videos and you're cringing a little bit. That's kind of like me with the gimmick level right now, I don't really want to keep working on it because I'm not super happy with it. And while I could just push through that and just finish it off, I feel like that would be doing the level a disservice, On top of that, the amount of level that I wanted to build was very ambitious. I'm not even halfway done yet. If I go to, the length that I wanted to do before, which if I didn't, I guess I could finish it off short, but then it would be really lame. I don't know. That just doesn't really seem like a good option to me. But then the other option is to go back and rework all the parts, all the older parts in the level. That's gonna take an unbelievable amount of time, and I'm better off just starting afresh. Which, hey, guess what? That's what I did with What the Base. That's my new 2.2 level that I've been working on that doesn't rely on a gimmick for each part because, I don't know, I don't find gimmicks as interesting anymore. I find, just regular gameplay to be more appealing. I think you can do a lot with regular gameplay without relying on weird trigger things. And yeah, I don't know, it's just, as a project, the gimmick level is not something that interests me, which brings me on to another point as well, which is like how I like to run my channel. Pretty much my point is that the gimmick level doesn't interest me, but like, who cares if you think about it? I know most people won't be thinking from this perspective, but as a creator, you do kind of think from this perspective sometimes of like, okay, it's not something you enjoy, but it's something that the audience wants, you know? And then so you just push through that, get yourself excited about it and go through with it, you know, just make it, just finish it off, right? Which I do sometimes. I do that very sometimes. I try not to do it like ever, because the way I like to run my channel is more of like documenting the goofy stuff that I like doing in GD in general, right? And I think you can definitely see that reflected over time. And if you look at most of my videos, I usually start off the video with a story of like, you know, I was watching this other video by this guy and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do this, you know? That those are like genuinely, that's how I get my ideas. If you want to know how I get my ideas, it's usually in the intro of the video. And so I don't necessarily formulate ideas that would be good for the algorithm or, you know, anything like that. I more just only make videos on the ideas that I think would make for good videos, you know? So like building the goofy level is probably something I'd be doing anyway if I wasn't making YouTube videos, but I'm just happening to document it because I think they would make for good videos as well, you know? Whereas there's a lot of like insane demons that I play that I don't think would make for good videos, so I don't make videos on them, I just beat them, right? And so that's kind of the thing with the gimmick level. Like if I wasn't making YouTube videos, if I didn't have this channel, I would have just dropped the level. I'm gonna be real, I would have just dropped it. I think my time is much better spent building newer levels that, you know, I'm actually proud of and that I can build off of and do more unique and interesting ideas with my new creating style, making a better full level rather than going back to an old level that I'm not super proud of. I think the gimmick level is like, it feels a little bit soulless with some of the decoration, which is not what I was going for at all. But I think in execution, that's kind of how it is in my mind anyway. And whether you think it is or not might be a completely different story, but I don't know. It doesn't matter in a way. That sounds really mean saying it that way, but I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, pretty much like, it's just not a project that interests me, and I try to keep my channel to be things that I am genuinely interested in, you know? I don't like to make videos on things that I really don't care about, that I do just for the sake of getting views. That's not how I like to do things. And I like to think that comes through, you know, the tone of my videos and stuff. I like to think that comes through. And you know, also, of course, like burnout and stuff is a thing, so that's kind of a nice way to avoid that to an extent as well, which is nice, you know? There's a lot of reasons I run the channel the way I do, and, you know, by extension, there's a lot of reasons I just haven't worked on the gimmick level in quite a while. But yeah, so that's pretty much the main reasons. I hope you understand. I don't expect everyone to, like, take that reason and understand. I feel like I'm still going to get questions about it, and there's still going to be, you know, a lot of people that are like, well, you should just work on it anyway, but I'm not going to, and that's the reason why, whether you agree with it or not, that's not up to me. But yeah, again, I don't want to say I'm never gonna come back to it, because I might at some point in the future. There might be, you know, some timeline where I do want to come back to it, or maybe remake it, start it from scratch, or do something funny with it. But for now, it's not in the immediate near future. I've got a lot of things that I want to do, and none of them are the gimmick level, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I am not continuing this series that a lot of people want me to continue, but it is what it is, and the reason why is this video. So yeah, anyway, thank you for listening to it, and yeah, I don't know. See ya.